Greetings, viewers. This is CP666 signing on for a video that you might be able to tell I'm voice tracking of this PowerBook 165. You probably see all the video glitches, which is why I am voice tracking this. I guess the camera needs the video head cleaner run through it or something, but anyway, the video seemed like it was okay enough to publish, but the audio was useless. I'm going to install macOS 7.5.5 on this, from floppy, obviously. So, to do that, you have to install 7.5.3 first, and then 7.5.5. I did actually change the hard drive, because the drive that was in it, which is the Toshiba, apparently does not work with it. I tried a third-party utility, and it still didn't really seem to work. Well, I just unplugged the machine for some reason, and then I plugged it back in. I'm turning it on again. So I took the drive out of my extra PowerBook 170, and I'm going to use that instead. You can see the screen, the passive matrix display, and there it won't boot, because 701 won't boot on this, but the passive matrix display has problems with the contrast, where I have to turn it almost all the way up, and then I go turn it down slowly as the system warms up. I've inserted what I hope is the boot disk, which is not the boot disk, so we'll try another one. Eventually I'll find it, I guess. This is the boot disk. You can see how long it takes for 753. Which I think is a 15-disc install set. The other thing about this is if I turn the brightness all the way up, I guess it draws too much power from the power supply and it shuts off, which is interesting. But now we have finished the startup process. Welcome to 753. Click continue. I wish I could, but it won't let me. There we go. So, easy install. I think I might have selected a custom install, which will take it a little bit. So use pretty much anything. I just went ahead and actually selected everything, and I'm going to install just basically everything to the hard drive. It's going to prepare. Here we go. So you can see there's quite the stack of disks to use, and it's reading the floppy and preparing to install still. Here it goes. Now it's actually doing something, and now it wants disk 2. This is a boring process. I think I'm pretty much going to skip over all of it. You can see the stack of floppies, which I thought was actually pretty neat how that works. Stack of floppies actually goes to the other side, and it's like a conveyor belt of floppy disks. Alright. Installation successful. That's the message that we want to see. So we don't need to do anything else. So we'll just go ahead and hit quit. Restart. Probably could have hit continue and started to install 755 just right there. But I might as well boot it up. Welcome to Macintosh. You can see the macOS logo. For whatever reason, it's running in monochrome mode as opposed to grayscale. This has a 16-bit grayscale panel in it, and it picked the, I think it's 4-bit is what it picked. You see all the interference on the display. You can tell it's passive matrix. It's a dual scan display. There's a line somewhere in there which is probably what I'm talking about. That indicates the dividing line, and even if you couldn't see that dividing line, you can see in the interference where the display is divided. Passive matrix displays really sucked, but they're also really cheap. If you wanted an active matrix display, you were tacking on a couple $1,000s to the purchase price, especially if you want a color. And the color ones are really small. Just because it was a primitive technology at the time. Because you can see in the interference lines, it stops roughly about the middle of the screen. Oh, now it's rebuilding the desktop file. I wonder why that's doing that. That's interesting. So I'm checking out the LCD, and here's the color thing. Yeah, it selected 4 grays. So I'm going to change that to 16. At some point. I thought it did it then, but evidently not. I guess I was waiting for it to finish rebuilding the desktop file. Alright, here we go. So I changed it to 16 grays, you might be able to tell. And now I'm going to About to get some system information. You can see 753, 12 megabytes of memory. I believe it's got 4 megs on board, and it's got an 8 megabyte RAM card or something similar. I don't actually remember what the onboard memory amount is. But now we're going to install 755. And I think I'm trying to figure out which installer to use, because there's a couple of them. Now I'm opening the About file to maybe tell me which one to use, but I think the About file is pretty useless and didn't tell me anything. It's amazingly slow. I'm not really sure why it's taking so long. I guess it's coming from floppy, though. You can see again evidence of the interference patterns here. But that didn't tell me how to install this. Oh, now I'm raising the volume. Checking out things on there. For whatever reason, the battery is showing fully charged, even though there's no battery installed, which is, I guess that's just its default position. I don't know. So I'm going to choose this installer. I don't know if this is the right one. There are 3 discs in this update set. Alright, we'll agree to that after reading it very carefully. And it looks like the only real option here is to just hit install. So we'll do that, and it'll prepare, and we'll get pretty much the same process that we got before. You can see those moving lines, that's actually showing up on the display. So I'm wondering if there's some marginal capacitors in it or something that will need to be replaced at some point. And now it's installed. Oh, I'm sorry. That actually was talking about how it was closing the Finder and everything else in order to install. So now it's installing. You can see the 3 discs. And this process is probably going to take forever. And installation successful. So we'll hit reboot. Should eject the floppy. And restart and chime. Which unfortunately you're missing out on in this video, but maybe I'll graft in, I don't know. I haven't decided yet. So you can see what the 16-bit icon is, or boot splash is supposed to look like. It's taking a little bit longer to load. think it's loading a few more extensions as well than it was last time. I'm not positive on that. Just because I didn't check. Now those scan lines, which is what I'm calling them because they would be called that on a CRT, those don't show up in person. I guess the refresh rate of the display is different. Now, I'm talking about the interference lines, the noise. So it's loading. It is a little sluggish. I'm not really sure why it's so sluggish, because it's got a 33 megahertz CPU and 12 megabytes of memory. So take a look at the about, and we will see that it is running 755. It's using 8 megabytes. I'll probably have to install RAM doubler on this or something, which I might just do anyway as a matter of course. So now I am... Oh, it's creating a preferences file. What am I doing? I think I'm changing the background. That's my guess. Now here we go, desktop patterns. So I'm going to go find one. I think this one. There were computers in elementary school that had this set up on them. This was a popular one, so I'm going to go ahead and set it to this, because I think it looks cool. Now I'm waiting for the system to do something. There we go. But I think that's pretty much it. Oh, that's, what is that, Stuff It Expander, which was installed on the 701 machine. I guess it kept it. But that's it. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. And this is CP666 signing off, and I hope to see you next time. Till then.